That open beta launch was pretty horrific on basically everything except for the gameplay itself. Like the game, the art, the music, the sound, all of that was good, but I mean, it started with the servers not actually coming up on time and having to like restart the client a couple times to get it to actually function. There was a horrible memory leak that literally crashed my stream 3 times and then crashed my computer, blue screened it, dealing with a Diablo memory leak, unfortunately. And it's crashing my entire everything. Like it's crashing OBS, it's crashing everything. All right, here we go. Speedrun, Rogue, select. It's already kinda erroring. Finalize. Ducks. Flashbang? Alright, let's see if we can make it through a cutscene. And then I loaded up the game again and finally got in and was able to turn the graphics down low enough that it wasn't using 20 plus gigabytes of RAM. That's absolutely unacceptable. I know that they said that like performance and optimization was going to be bad, but bro, 20 plus gigabytes of RAM? Like, come on. No. Not in the character creation screen are you using 20 gigabytes of RAM, okay? And then on top of that, there were a bunch of like very small bugs. Like every time that I tried to exit town, I got stuck with this like weird rubber band thing and kept getting kicked in and out of town. Every time a new player would load into the zone, my game would like hang for a second. I think there's some kind of issue with like loading in and loading out assets that they haven't really figured out. But moving all of that aside, I am very happy with this open beta of Diablo 4. When it comes to the gameplay feel, I felt almost immediately, like literally the first movements that I took in the game felt absolutely rock solid. Oh man, that feels okay. All right. Gut instinct here, okay? I just want you to hear me out, chat, okay? I have missed playing an ARPG that immediately the movement feels so responsive. This feels beautiful. Like, I don't want to play PoE. I don't want to like walk around on a character in PoE anymore after feeling how this feels. I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but honestly, it's just so significantly better than any recent ARPGs. It's insane how nice this feels. Oh my god. This is kind of to be expected from, you know, like a giant AAA corporation like Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. You would think that their games would, you know, be basically like perfect when it came to the actual like minutia of the gameplay, and they absolutely delivered on that. The game feels responsive. There's absolutely no latency whatsoever. All of the abilities as you use them, the movement, the monsters and the way that they react to the damage that you do to them, all of that feels insanely impactful and just excellent. Now, I've only played one day. That is all the time that I've had to play of it so far. I played the Rogue, and the Rogue felt very, very good. And one thing that I really did like quite a bit about Diablo 4 in comparison to Diablo 3 was that there is a little bit more customization here. You've got a skill tree, even though it's kind of like a pseudo skill tree. It's no Path of Exile skill tree for sure, but there is more customization there. There's more to do. Now, the itemization is basically exactly the same as Diablo 3. There are some very small changes that have been made from what I can see so far. Hopefully we get more in the coming months, and on the full release we get like a little bit more breadth when it comes to the itemization and such. It's pretty lackluster right now. However, if you're looking for that classic Diablo feel, this game really does deliver on it so far. It's kind of like a in-between from the grittiness and rawness that you get from like Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and the more like cartoonish, but you know, like stylized graphics that you got from Diablo 3. This kind of feels like a good mesh between the two. Now, as I said, I've pretty much only played the Rogue. However, I am going to be playing on stream the next 2 days of the early access open beta, which I got into with my Blizzard balance that I had from playing World of Warcraft for so many years, but besides the point, I am going to be playing on stream at twitch.tv/BigDucks, which you should go follow, by the way, the Barbarian and the Sorcerer after this. And then on the next open beta, I think that they have said that the Necromancer and the Druid are going to be available then, so we'll play those then. There's also going to be like some world bosses that are going to be available during these open betas. I'm going to try to get into those and see how those feel when they are available, because like the feeling that I get from Diablo 4, and And this is something that I didn't really even know that I wanted, but now that I've experienced it, it's actually kind of cool. This feels like the first real like AMMO RPG, action massive multiplayer online role-playing game. When you go into the zones, the open world zones, and you'll just suddenly find a random person that's doing the same quest or doing the same thing with you. The enemies that they kill drop loot for you, the enemies that you kill drop loot for them. It just feels like you integrate into their party seamlessly, and you're just there, you fight a little bit, and then they disappear. Now, I haven't been able to do any of like the PvP or anything like that. I don't think any of that is in the open beta so far, but the like seamless integration that you get when you just find a random person to play with in the open world is very, very good feeling. And I'm curious to see how the game is going to feel in these like world bosses or these like larger party aspects. It should be pretty interesting, and I am hopeful from what I've seen so far. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, well, how is it compared to Path of Exile? You're a Path of Exile guy, Big Ducks. How is the game in comparison to Path of Exile? If you're looking for Path of Exile here, you're going to be heavily disappointed. I think that most people, if they are looking for a very in-depth, very expansive, like miles and miles deep game with tons of customization and all kinds of different things that you can do, I don't think Diablo 4 is going to be that game. However, the feeling that I got from Diablo 4, I was talking about this with my chat on stream, and the feeling that I realize that I always get when I play Path of Exile is I always just kind of feel stressed at any given point, It's like any enemy from any area on the map can kill me, can one-shot me. I always have to be worried about dying. I have to be worried about this, be worried about that. I'm constantly spamming buttons, having to think about everything that I'm doing, worrying about like where my next skill point's gonna go, what's my next upgrade, what's this, what's that. When I was playing Diablo 4, it kind of just felt calm. It felt like I could play a little bit more casually, and I didn't need to worry as much. I feel like that is a good thing for the genre as it is right now, because Path of Exile has definitely been moving very far in the hardcore direction, and the only real like more casual ARPG that we've had in any recent time is something like Grim Dawn. And I feel that Diablo 4 will really resonate with a lot of more casual players that kind of just want to get on, maybe, play a couple zones, dungeons, maps, whatever you want to call them with your friends, hang out, do a couple of things, maybe, play a character, PvP a little bit, and then be done. Because I do feel that there is a pretty decent audience for that. Path of Exile used to kind of cater to that years ago, but as time has gone on, like party-focused content, it's just become less and less and less worth it, unless you're trying to do some like organized party or thing like that. It's not really a casual game by any means anymore. You really do have to spend 10, 20, 30, 40 hours just to even get to the point where you can consider it like, I don't know, fun? I don't know if that's the right word, but that's kind of how I feel about it. So having this kind of just like relief of pressure and feeling like there is just this like lack of stress when playing an ARPG just kind of felt nice. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The vibe that I kind of got from the gameplay so far is that it does feel like there is a slight lack of abilities to use. There aren't that many for each class so far from what I've seen, and the like variety of what you can do at any given time is a little lacking, unfortunately. Hopefully that will be improved with like higher tier gear and some of the legendary properties and things like that. Hopefully that will create like new builds, more interesting things to do, and that'll be fine. As it is right now, in the open beta, you can only get to like level 25, I think. But from what I have seen, I once again played the Rogue. There is a lot of really cool stuff, but it isn't like a huge departure gameplay-wise from what Diablo 3 brought to us well over a decade ago. Now, to be fair, ARPGs in general haven't really got very much more room to innovate, I feel. PoE has kind of done that pretty well, and honestly, I think if Blizzard wanted to, because supposedly they're going to be updating the game like Diablo 4 consistently every couple months, I mean, they've got like 20 Path of Exile leagues that they can steal ideas from at this point, so they're probably set on that kind of stuff. They can just pick and choose all the best ones and bring out some interesting stuff over the course of time. I'm not saying that, like it's cool to just steal, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. So it's nice to finally feel like maybe Path of Exile is going to have some realistic competition. We've got Last Epoch that's on the horizon as well. We have the new big update that's coming from that, the factions, which I think is going to be a huge push towards towards legitimacy for Last Epoch, because it already got the multiplayer update and that's really good. But the factions, the way that you can either do like a enhanced solo self-found version or trade instead, I feel like that is a huge step towards the legitimacy of that game, because I really do like what the Last Epoch devs have been doing, and this step I think is going to be a big one for them. So over the next coming days, I will get you guys some more information. I'm going to play the other two classes. We're going to do the world boss, get a more full scope of what the game actually feels like, and then I'll report back to you on all of that. So remember, boys, if you're enjoying my content, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest videos, and stay safe out there in Sanctuary. And I'll see you guys in the next video.